very simple method, and I call it the Me Plus 3 method. And if you can stay focused now, first off, I'm going to go ahead and put a little disclaimer because I know everybody's life is a little bit different. So when I train, I'm going to train you to the top. And if you can't manage those hours and that time, that's the beauty of this business. You get to determine and step back and make adjustments and that type of thing, right? So I don't want you to go, I'm not meeting Lori's expectations. These aren't mine expectations. This would be like saying if you were training to go to the Olympics, we're going to give you the Olympic standard. If a college standard's better for you, or a high school standard is better for you, or a recreational standard is better for you, that's fine. But I do want you to know, how many of you here, if you knew you wouldn't fail, and you can just do it by a show of hands, if you knew you wouldn't fail, would love to make big money? Yeah, that's what I thought. So I'm going to tell you how to do it, okay? And you're going to find out it's not so difficult. So first off, Me Plus 3. So every week, Me Plus 3 parties, meaning hold 3 parties a week. If you're holding 3 parties a week, a lot of people think that has to do with sales. It doesn't necessarily have to do with sales. It has to do with meeting enough people to always be recruiting. It has to do with meeting enough people to always book more parties. It has to do with having enough opportunity on your calendar to make sure that you're not having to add trainings to your calendar, because every time someone on your team locally needs to be trained, guess what you're going to say is, come go to a party with me. They can learn so much at that party that would take hours and hours of you and them doing training together. And I'm a believer in getting paid to train. How do you get paid to train? Training while you're doing your work. So would you rather train for free by talking on the telephone or creating a training system or putting a meeting together, or would you rather train and get paid for it while you're holding a party? Does that make sense to everybody? So Me Plus 3 parties every week. Me Plus 3 Cocoa Chats every week. Okay? So to do 3 Cocoa Chats every week, if you pick out 3 people at every party to talk to, and we'll be talking more about that in future classes, out of every 3, probably one's going to agree to actually Cocoa Chat. Out of every 3 that you do what I call a proper Cocoa Chat, and that means ask for what you want, not just telling people about DCD, but learning about them and asking them to be part, you should recruit about 1 in 3. So guess what? Me Plus 3 recruits a month. That comes natural next. Okay? So we have 3 parties a week, 3 Cocoa Chats a week, 3 recruits a month. Me Plus, by doing that, that means you're going to be bringing in at least 9 to 10 new recruits every quarter. So you're going to be promoting leaders. So you're going to be promoting a leader probably every month if you're doing that. So Me Plus 3 leaders a quarter, because you're going to be bringing it in and you're going to be training others to do the same. And guess what? They're going to be promoting leaders. So it's not going to be just on you, right? When you're doing that, when you're promoting 12 leaders a year, it's going to be Me Plus 3 managers a year. You're going to be promoting 3 managers a year. Now, let me tell you what happens. That's when the big bucks kick in. When you become a manager, you get a 3% bonus. It's kind of funny that that 3 keeps showing up. But when you promote a manager, you make 5% on their entire team, not just 3. So it is a great incentive, or a great increase in income. And then Me Plus 3 teaching 3 to do the same every year. You're looking for 3 people. I'm here to tell you, not every leader you promote is going to do what you do. Not every manager you promote is going to do what you do. So that's why we're bringing in the masses, okay? So you're looking for those diamonds in the rough, or the needle in the haystack, or however you want it. And if you will follow that simple little formula right there, Me Plus 3, that's as simple as it gets, you will find that you will have true success in this business, and you will be making big money before you know it. And I'm talking big money, $60,000 to $100,000 a year in just a a year to 2 years should be if you're truly following this plan, okay? So let me ask you this. If at your job right now, they said in 2 years you can be making $100,000 a year, but you have to do this, 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 and this, would you do it? Okay? I'm telling you, if you do this, 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 and this, you will make that money. In fact, I'll tell you one thing. I do this all the time, and I've never had to do it. Anybody that does that me plus 3 I just gave you for 2 years and you're not making 6 figures, I'll write you a check for $1,000 out of my personal checkbook. That's how much I believe. All right, every one of you. If you do it every single month, but you can't pick and choose when you do it. It's a consistency thing. It's all about the training, okay? Anybody have any questions on that before we go to the next piece? So I'm going to ask you a couple things. First off, I'm going to ask you to trust me. This is a business that it's really important. You've got to know that I'll never lead you astray. Everything I'm going to ask you to do is going to better your business. Now, let me clarify that with saying there might be some things that I ask you to do to grow your business because I want you to succeed. That makes you a little uncomfortable. It gets you a little antsy. But that's the only way you can grow. No one ever grows in a state of comfort zone. Do you believe that? You have to get uncomfortable. And I had a motto when I was new, and I still have this motto. Do it afraid. So I am not like Miss Technology, Miss social media guru. And every time, in fact, I'm working on a project this week that's got me a little afraid that I'm having to get way out of my comfort zone to do something to be able to be more successful. But if I can't get out of my comfort zone, I can't expect you to get out of yours. So I'm going to ask you to trust me and know that I promise you that this will take you from getting out of your comfort zone. It'll take you from good to great. And trust that I'll never ask you to do anything that won't grow your business. So I'm also going to ask you to think about this. If there was truly a pot at the end of the rainbow, let's say there is this $1 million pot at the end of the rainbow. Throughout this class, I want you to think about what would you do differently to get to it. Because in the last 26 years in this industry, I'm here to tell you I've made millions in this industry. I've had years that I've made upwards of over $400,000 in a year. So, and I was just a little girl, 25 years old, without a college education, with 3 little kids under the age of 5 when I started. And I didn't know what I was doing any more than any of you know what you were doing. I just trusted. And I truly, the one thing I will say about myself is if they told me it would make me successful, I did it. I didn't say I don't want to. I might have thought I don't want to. And I might have even said I don't want to. But in the end, I knew I had to do it. Okay? So that's how I got to where I got. Not by saying, well, I like that idea, but not that idea. I did what they told me to do. And that basically was I followed a me plus 3, except back in the day when we didn't have all the social media and the advancements and the high party average and that kind of thing, it was me plus 5. Everything was in 5s. So me plus 5 parties a week, me plus 5 recruits a week, me plus 5 interviews a week, which was what I called Cocoa Chats. It was the exact same thing. So I'm going to ask you to follow that. So today, that one of the first things that we want to talk about is, the successful behaviors of a leader. Leaders can't just talk about it. They have to lead. Very rarely are you going to get someone on your team that does more than you. And if you do, yay. I mean, just celebrate it, because I can tell you, it took me 6 years to find a true me. Now, don't let that discourage you. But it took me 6 years to find someone that wanted it the big. Now, I had lots of great leaders and lots of great managers under me. But most people are going to do a little less. So guess what? If you're only doing 1 party a week and they do a little less, how many is that? Doesn't make for a really strong team, does it? If you only do 1 party a month, what's a little less than that? Uh-oh, you're in big trouble. That means they're not doing any parties. So we're going to talk a lot about having your party calendar filled. The beauty in today's world is you've got lots of ways to do this business. You need to master the fundamentals. If you've been in this industry, you might think some of what I'm teaching you throughout these next 6 weeks is very repetitive, very basic. Oh, I know this stuff. Just be open to learn. I'm gonna point someone out on this call right now, and she knows who it is already. So there she is. She looked at me. She knew. Jen Fitzgerald, in my screen, she's in the middle. Jen, raise your hand. I tell you one thing, if I could model all of your behavior against this lady's behavior right here, she's one of the best students I've ever had in my life. Jen opens herself to learning all the time. Jen's been with us for almost, what, a year and a half now, Jen? 2 years. Look, she still came back to Promote with Passion because she wants to be better. And that's why the fundamentals are so important. She could teach this class, but she knows that from your comments, yes, you could. Your comments, she's going to learn, or she's going to hear something different, or she's experienced something now she didn't experience the last time she took the class, so it's going to mean more. So as a leader, you need to, lead by example and master the fundamentals. Only do what can be duplicated. This is a hard one with modern technology because a lot of times, and let me tell you, I think some days we're going to have to say only do mostly what can be duplicated, because there are going to be some things, but think of your business on 100%, 75% of what you do really needs to be duplicatable, meaning if you're going to do your business through the internet, you need to really be able to train everyone on your team to do the same thing. Nothing wrong with doing it, but if you can't train it, they can't follow your example. Why do I talk parties so much? Because it's a very duplicatable way to do the business. Why do I talk me plus 3? Because it's duplicatable. You know when you've achieved it each and every week. If you're going to do Facebook parties, why did Kim Starcevich put together such an amazing outline? Because it's duplicatable. People can watch it, make their own videos, do the same thing, get similar results. So everything in your business, you want it to be duplicatable. Also, this isn't in there, but don't do it when you're small what you can't do when you're big. I'll have people say, oh, I offered somebody a $50 bonus if they recruited. And I'm like, really? So what's going to happen the week 10 people join? Are you going to give $500 away? No, I'm just doing that when I'm little. Well, no, only do when you're little what you can do when you're big. And some of the best advice I got was act your age. What does that mean? If you're new in the business, act new. It's okay. It's okay to treat your team to Dollar Tree gifts with lots of curling ribbon, and because chances are their reward, their action, you're rewarding smaller things. Just because you got a little Coach wristlet from your up leader, don't be going and buying Coach wristlets as a brand new leader, okay? One thing that I believe is nobody quits this business when they're having fun and making money. So you're going to hear me talk a lot about making sure you stay profitable, okay? Are y'all good with that? Everybody want to make money? You don't want to spend it all, right? Barbie, did you have a question? I thought I saw you maybe raising your hand. No, you're good? Okay. All right. Build your business from the top down. What does that mean? It means you're going to start by focusing on your own recruiting. So I can't remember if it was Jen who said this to me. It was a great word. That they didn't want to build a tree. In their mind, they wanted to build a table. What you, Jen? I thought this was so smart. And what they meant is, I'm just going to focus on the front. The tree is going to come. You know how we build a tree in direct selling? It looks like this. Some people refer to it as that nasty P word, pyramid. It's not. You want to build a table, and then you want everybody to build their own table underneath. Well, that's how it becomes that way. So you want to focus on that front line. Now, that's not to say that you're not going to be reaching down and helping and that kind of thing, but you want to not worry about, you want to take care of you first, and your duplication will build the rest. The next thing that we want to talk about, as a leader always has goals. Goals are so very important. And if you're not a leader yet, here's what I want you to know. Guess what? I'm setting a goal for you. Don't let this scare you to death. Remember, I'm not going to do anything to hurt your business. You're going to get promoted. You can get promoted this month in the next 8 days. And you're going, really? I can? Absolutely. You can. Because it only takes, if you don't know, $600 in personal volume, $1,500 in group volume. And by the way, your personal volume counts towards your group volume. So you can do all $1,500 yourself. And if you want something bad enough, you can make it happen. And then get 3 recruits. And we're going to be offering some different opportunities for me to help you. By committing to this class and the coaching calls, you get #1 access to me, even over, by the way, my leaders and current managers. You have #1 access to me. You are my priority. So if you want me to help you do a group Coco chat on the telephone or via Zoom, guess what? We're going to find a time for you to do it. Now, I can't do it today at 2 o'clock. We might have to look at some different times, right? Actually, I probably could today at 2:30. But, you are my #1 priority because you are the future of our company. But you need to have a goal. So I want you to think about, what do you really want? What's going to get you out of bed in the morning on those days? Because let me just tell you, I've been doing this for 26 years. It paid our family's bills our entire life, except for the last 3 when I got remarried, and my husband's a softball coach. So I now have another income coming in. But when I was raising my kids, this was it. And we lived quite well, I'll say. I'm very proud of the life we've had. But I always had to have a goal. And y'all want to laugh? Money does not motivate me. The dollar sign does not motivate me. What money buys motivates me. Now, so I can remember one of my very first goals I set was to buy season passes for my kids to Six Flags. We live in Texas. We live in Dallas-Fort Worth. And we live about 10 miles from Six Flags. But for our family to buy season passes, that was a chunk of money we weren't used to spending. Now today, I'm in a fortunate position. I could go buy them today and not think anything about it. But back when I started, when they were little kids, $500 was a lot of money. It was a make or break for my family. The next year, I had a goal that we got season passes to Six Flags and what they called Wet n Wild back then. It's called Six Flags Water Park now. And then one year, do you know, in my 8th year, my goal was to pay for 2 Sea-Doos. Do y'all know what Sea-Doos are? They go in the water like a snowmobile. For those of you that live up north, to buy 2 cash. And I made $22,000 extra on top of our income. And I set a goal, and I went to Cowtown Sea-Doo, and I handed them a check for $22,000 and drove off with 2 Sea-Doos. So things change. It started out with Six Flags passes, and it grew. One year it was to tile my kitchen floor. Those are the things that on the days that I didn't want to get out of bed, that's what got me out of bed. What do you want? What do you really want? I can remember when I first started, when I was married, my kid's dad, he lost his job very early in my career. And by the way, he never had to go back to work because of my business. But I can remember, besides paying our bills, the only thing I didn't want to give up was getting my nails done. Now, that might sound silly to some of you guys, but I'm a nail girl. And that made me always feel pretty. To go get that done, if nothing else was perfect, that was me. And I can remember sitting with my mentor and telling her, and her saying, okay, Lori, what's really, because I said, I'm scared. Paying bills does not motivate me. I know I have to do it, but it doesn't get me out of bed. So she said, what does? I said, I want to keep getting my nails done. And she goes, okay, so how you do that is you figure out how much you have to pay for your bills, and you book another party or 2 parties or whatever you need on top of that. And until you get the bills paid, you can't get your nails done. And do you know that these have not been off in 25 years? That's how important it was. And it all stems back from way back when I determined that that's what I wanted. That I wanted to always be able to afford to get my nails done. So write down something now, but make a note. Do a dream board. That's fun. I love things like dream boards and vision boards. But I want you to think of something. I do want each of you, if you're not a leader, to set a goal to be a leader this month. If you are a leader, I want you to set a goal to be paid beyond being a leader. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a senior team leader, but don't shoot for the minimum. All right. Next thing we want to talk about is booking. But I'm going to jump because we always have I always don't have enough time in this class. This is my favorite class. I could have sworn I think I missed a page out of my book. Hold on just a second, ladies. Power statement. Because to me, a power statement, if we're going to talk about two things that I'm going to get to, or three things that we're going to do in this last 30 minutes that will help you with booking, is your power statement, your full service checkout, and 21 days to success. So that's what we're going to spend our next 30 minutes on. So, and all of these will lead to extra bookings. But when it comes to booking, the one thing that I want you to know, this is very important, the best way to book parties is to ask questions. Guess what? The best way to recruit is ask questions. Guess what the best way to develop leaders is? Ask questions. Why is that the answer to everything? It's because if you're learning about people and meeting their needs, and everyone likes to have their needs met. There's no one out there that doesn't want their needs met. And the only way you can meet people's needs is by asking questions and learning about them. So it's really important to ask questions. So we're going to talk about our power statement. So your power statement is kind of like, so when I was new in the industry and I was being trained to how to train my team and to train large groups of people and then to train at national conferences and things like that, and even train worldwide, one of the things that I was taught was a good trainer, you might want to write this down, tells people what they're going to tell them. So a good trainer, before they start, just like hopefully I'm a good trainer, I just told you, this is what we're going to do in the next 30 minutes. I'm telling you what I'm going to tell you. Then, number two, I tell you. And then I tell you what I told you with a simple wrap up. So you tell them what you're going to tell them, and tell them what you told them. And that's kind of what our power statement really reminds me of. It's you are telling them what's going to happen at the party. So you may not realize this, but most people aren't big fond of surprises. So have any of you, and just again, you can do it by a show of hands if you'd like, have any of you ever been to a home party and you're thinking, is this ever going to end? How much more do I have to sit through this? Well, if they tell you what they're going to tell you beforehand, then you know what's going to happen. And it gives you a sense of comfort to know what's coming. Would you agree? Most people don't like being surprised. We like to know what's coming. Somebody thinks they're on mute and they're not, and their baby is really cute and laughing in the background. So if you don't mind putting yourself on mute, that would be great. So our power statement is just that. Our power statement tells people what's going to happen during the party. So if I was going to do a power statement, I'm going to do one just off the top of my head. I'm not going to read the one that's in the book. You can use that later if you would like. But this would be my power statement. And I don't hold parties every month and every week like you guys do. So it might sound a little rough, but I've been doing this fairly long, so I think I can spit one out here. So I just want to thank all of you for coming to our party today, but I especially want to thank Christy, for allowing you into the home. You know what? It's the biggest compliment Christy could have ever paid me was to invite me into her home and introduce me to her friends and let me share with you all the great things about Dove Chocolate Discoveries. Today, first and foremost, you're going to have fun. We're going to have a great time. We're going to be trying some new products. In fact, we're probably going to be trying products in ways that you've never even imagined chocolate. We're going to be trying it in a pasta sauce. We're going to be trying it in a martini, and I'll keep some surprises for you so we'll have even more fun. You're also going to be hearing about what a great opportunity this business is. You know, chocolate's the #1 flavor in the world, and 83% of the world says it's their favorite. So, you know what better business to be in than to make people smile? And, you know, you're going to have so much fun today. I know you're going to be like Christy, and you're going to want to share this with your friends. So I'm going to be talking to each and every one of you about the opportunity to host your on and get lots of free products and just have fun and an excuse to get out with your friends. I'm also going to be talking to you about our business opportunity because I never want anyone to walk away thinking, gosh, you know, I think I might like to do it. I wonder why she didn't ask me. And we're also going to be talking about some great specials. So all I want you to do right now is sit back, relax, and enjoy, and let's get started with our first tasting. Now, do you see where you can anticipate excitement? If you're doing something like that, if anybody doesn't have a lot of background noise and wants to come off and say, what did that do to you when you heard that? Is there anybody that could share?
For me, first of all, it gave me a heads up knowing, you know, okay, this and this and this is what's going to happen tonight. And I know where my personality has the ability to come out. You know, if I'm just one of the guests, I know that, okay, yeah, I may not be as upfront this part, but when it comes to this, man, I'm going to be really excited about that. Kind of gives me a heads up, lets me know what's going to happen, gives me what to expect. It gives me the ability to prepare for that.
Great. Awesome, Christine. Thanks. Anybody else want to share?
I will.
Okay.
I think that it helps people to relax too. Like if you're telling them what you're going to do as you're going into it, and as you go, they know that they're going to have fun, and it helps them to relax also.
Great, Stephanie. Good. I hope that happened. Anybody else?
I'll share too. I mean, it was just very, I mean, as others stated, it was very upbeat and exciting, and it just kind of, it would keep everybody in, you know, on the edge of their seat, just waiting to hear what you were going to have to say and keep them, you know, and also too, it was, I mean, from my aspect, I feel like I just wanted to write everything you just said down because I want to take it all with me and say it everywhere I go because it was awesome, and I don't think I could ever come up with that. So I just wanted to say it was wonderful.
Christy, I'll send you the recording. I'll send all of you guys the recording, okay? Because I am recording. But you do want to make it your own. But the main thing that I wanted you guys to hear, no one said it specifically, but I said, I'm going to ask you to have a party. I'm telling them right up front. I'm going to ask you about joining my business. Because, and I make it to where I wouldn't be fair to you if I did it. Did you hear that? I said, you know, because I wouldn't want you to sit there and wonder, why didn't she ask me? So that takes the monkey off my back and what some people are afraid of. Anybody on here, if you were really, 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 really honest, ever afraid of being pushy? I have. Everybody's afraid of that. But this puts it in a light that I'm doing you a favor, and I never want to leave you out. Now, some people you're going to be more specific with because you really connected with them and identified. But the goal is here, and is to ask questions. Are you ready to have fun? Are you ready to have that first tasting? Are you ready to book a party? You know, where a lot of times I'll even say, be thinking about the date that you want to have your party. Be thinking about if you were to do this as a business, who would be your first party? What kinds of things will start to sneak out into your power statement because it's what you really start to feel. Samantha Sherrill, who is a new little hotshot out of Mississippi, and I see one of her gals, Lisa, on here. We might have others as well. Part of Samantha's group on, but I see Lisa right in front of me. Said yesterday, we were talking about approaching people, why we don't always talk to 3 people at every party specifically about the business opportunity. And someone said it's because they're just, afraid. They don't know what to say. And Samantha was really great. She goes, you know what I found I started doing was I would start by just paying people compliments. And then before I knew it, I was all of a sudden I was sharing about, I just started out by like, you're a great cashier, you're really good at what you do, or thanks for being such a great server tonight at our restaurant. And then she said, then I found myself saying things like, oh, and you would make a great addition to our Dove chocolate team. I would love to work with people like you. And she goes, I didn't even plan it. And that's exactly what you want it to be, because then it's sincere. No one really wants a compliment, do they, if it's not sincere? That's just like, Barb, you're showing up twice on here, Barb Marquardt. And I think we're getting maybe possibly some background noise from the one where I don't see your face. I just thought I'd let you know. So that's what we call a power statement. And on page 10 in your book, there's actually kind of a power statement for you to write your own. As part of your homework this week is, I still got that baby in the background. I'm gonna go through and see if I can mute some audios here. You still have that power statement. You've got the power statement. That's part of your homework. I'm not going to insist that you send me your power statement, but it is part of your homework to do it. And what I'd really like is to be able to read it. And if you'd like some feedback, I'd love to be able to give you feedback on your power statement if you're open to that. I'd love to have that. So that is there for you. The next thing is we're going to talk about is your full service checkout. Okay, your full service checkout is really important because there's 3 ways that we service people. In fact, you could even use some of these words when you're making phone calls. Many years ago, there's a direct selling trainer. Her name is Eileen Meckley. I don't know if any of you've ever heard of her, but she had what she called the customer service recruiting approach. And I loved it because when you were just making calls, let's say, you've done a big vendor event and people didn't mark anything in particular that they were interested in, and you just got this list of like a million names, you could call and you say something like, hi, this is Lori with Dove Chocolate Discoveries, and I met you on Saturday at the, Mount Olive Church Bazaar. And the reason I'm calling is you filled out one of our forms, and I'm just touching base because it's my goal to give fantastic customer service. And I wanted to share with you the 3 ways that I can service you. Would that be okay? Again, I just asked permission. Would that be okay? By them saying yes, that means they're going to listen to all 3 things. If you don't ask permission, then sometimes they kind of cut you off. But when you say, I've got 3 ways I can service you, can I share those with you? Would that be okay? And they say yes, they feel a little obligated to kind of sit back and listen, right? So that's a good thing. That's what we want. So the 3 ways that we service is, number 1 is we have a fabulous business opportunity. And then we go into that, and I'll come back to that in just a second if time permits. Number 2 is booking, and number 3 is through a referral program and just purchasing. Well, your full service checkout is to service all 3 of those things. So what I do is, to make it a real strong reminder to me, is I have our Sweet Success recruiting brochures as my first stack. So if I have 10 people there, I'm not going to use them all, but I'm going to have 10 Sweet Success recruiting brochures. And then the next stack is going to be my host packet. And by the way, in a later call, you will learn that my host packet and my recruiting packet are exactly the same. Why? Because if I'm hostess coaching you, I should be offering you the business opportunity to turn it into a launch. So everything in that packet shouldn't just be for the host, it should be for a recruit too. If I'm coming to do a Coco chat with you, I should assume you're going to say yes. So I need the host packet to plan your launch. And if you say no, I'm still going to try to book a party with you. So I need the host packet. So mine are one and the same. So I have my Sweet Success brochures. And then I have my host packs. And then my third stack, I use 3x5 cards and samples. So I might have a stack of 3x5 cards and samples. And maybe like a hot pink or something stapled to it. So let's say I'm using a sample of our cinnamon dusted almonds. So I might have a little sample pack with 3 cinnamon dusted almonds with my business card and a hot pink 3x5 card. So what I'm going to do is, so when you come to sit down and talk to me, and I'm going to be doing your order, I'm going to start by asking you questions that I believe I can get yes responses to. Our human nature is to say no. So how many of you on this call are moms? Okay. How many, even if you're not a mom, all of us have been children. So we've all been with the experience where I'll use our child. So a child comes to you and says, hey mom, can I have a cookie? And you go, no. And you think, why did I just say no? It's, you know, they ate a good lunch. It's 2 hours after lunch. It's 3 hours before dinner. But we know we can change that no to a yes, right? But heaven forbid you say yes and then you try to change it to a no, right? Then if your children are human and normal, mine were very human and normal and still are, by the way. And I say yes and then try to change it to a no. They're going to be, but mom, you said, you know, or can so-and-so spend the night, right? And you say yes and then you try to go back and say no because you remember something's going on. Oh man, Katie bar the door, right? So we want to ask questions that make them stop, think, and then respond. This is the reason. In fact, there's two sentences you're going to completely remove from your vocabulary. Number one is, I want you to write this down. Do you want to have a party? Then draw the biggest line through it ever. You're never going to say that again. Do you want to have a party? You are asking for a no. Do you want to have a party? No. It's just easier to say than yes. It's only 2 letters instead of 3. Keep that in mind. Okay? It's just easier to say. Do you want to join my team? Cross a line through it. So you're thinking, okay, Laurie, how do I get parties and how do I get people on my team? Well, you start to ask them questions. Things that they have to stop, think, and respond. Did you have fun today at the party? What are most people going to say? Yes. Did you try some things unexpected that you really liked? Yes. Do you enjoy getting together with friends? Yes. Or they wouldn't have come to a party. Do you like getting free stuff? Yes. These are the types of questions you want to get them out of what I call out of the no frame of mind. Because once you get them out of the no frame of mind, then they stop and they think. What are some questions you would ask about recruiting? There'd be questions like, have you ever thought about doing something to make extra money alongside your family and other activities? Most people would say, yeah, I've thought about that. You didn't say, have you ever thought about direct selling? Have you ever thought about anything? Do you ever find that there's more month than there is money at the end of every month? Yeah, I've been there. If you knew you could be your own boss and make tons of money, would you enjoy it? Yes. Would you like free trips? Yes. I mean, you've got to think of the person and kind of the conversations you've been having, but do you see how I'm asking questions that I feel fairly confident they'll answer yes to based on the person I'm talking to? Okay? So just as you're doing their order, just start asking. Maybe what you can do is write down 6 to 10 questions that you can just use generically. and have them until you get comfortable, just have them at your checkout. So you start asking, they start talking, and you say, you know, I'm so glad you had fun today. Can you imagine this is my job? Can you imagine having a fun job like this? It would be great, wouldn't it? Yes. Well, one of the ways I can service you, and at this point, I'm putting my hand on the recruiting brochures, because by doing that, I'm showing them, I'm going to talk to them about 3 things. They're going to watch my hand move. So I'm, you know, bam, bam, bam. So, you know, you were a lot of fun tonight also, and I know you would be great at this. I'd love to visit with you more about how this could fit alongside you and your family. How about I treat you to a cup of coffee? Or how would you like to hang out for a little bit extra tonight and see? Maybe if it's not for you, but maybe it is, or maybe now, maybe later, maybe for a friend. A great way. Now, not everyone's going to say yes, right? But even if they say no, say, you know what? I hope you'll take this as a compliment, but I see blank in you. I see a fun, outgoing person that looks like they could bring a lot of fun to a lot of people. I see a competitive spirit in you because you were the one that wanted to win all the games tonight. I see a real servant because you were there to help me pass out catalogs, get this, get that, and those type of people make great chocolatiers. Even though you're not ready to set anything up today, can I just give you this brochure to take home and look over a little bit more? And would it be okay if I just check back with you in a few days and see if anything's changed? Question, 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 right? Are you getting the picture? Questions, questions, questions. And open-ended questions. They either need to have yes answers or open-ended answers, okay? Yes or open-ended. If they say, yeah, I'll take that, or, you know, no, I'm really trying, okay. Well, you know what? I remember you saying you had a lot of fun tonight, and it was so much fun to get together with your girlfriends. Have you ever said to your friends, oh my gosh, why does it take a funeral or wedding for us to get together? And they're going to say yes. Say, well, and aren't you always the person that says, I'm not going to wait to that next funeral or wedding? So you know what? Why don't you make true on that? Let's set a date and you call your friends and tell them it's not a funeral or a wedding, it's a chocolate party. You know, what's the best time for you, daytime or evening? Weekend or weekday? Whatever you hold. Questions, 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 right? So now you've done that. You've talked about recruiting. You've talked about booking. Because remember, in your power statement, you told them, right? You were going to be asking them. You're not doing your job. And quite honestly, there are going to be people, if you don't ask, whose feelings get hurt. If you say you're going to ask and you don't, their feelings are truly going to get hurt. Because they must think, well, she must not think I'm very fun, or she must not like me. So don't hurt. No one wants to hurt anyone's feelings, do they? So don't hurt their feelings, ask. And then the last thing is, if you still can't get them to set up a Cocoa Chat, you can't get a party booked with them. Because if you get a party booked with them, you'll see in our hostess coaching class, I think that is either week 2 or week 3. I'm going to teach you a thing called, it's week 2, it's next week, the host Tic Tac Chocolate. And if you're not using this, it's a sure way to get a Cocoa Chat with every single hostess if you really want one. I'm going to teach you a very easy way and some great word choices. You're going to say, well, I know you have friends that like chocolate, right? Yes. Well, tell you what, if you'll give me a name and a phone number of someone that I can reach out to, but I want you to do me a favor, because I know I'm that girl. I don't like the surprise calls on referrals. So I'm asking you to call them first and say, hey, I thought of you. I know you love chocolate, or I know you love to party, or I know you've been looking for extra income, whatever they're referring them for. I'm going to give you the sample of our cinnamon dusted almonds. And guess what? When they book a party or join my team, I'm going to give you the full box. Would you buy a half pound of cinnamon dusted almonds at $12? Your cost $8. If someone joined your team or booked a party and all you had to do was make a phone call because it was a referral, it didn't really cost you anything, did it? That's cheap. So that's the way, and that's why I have that little card. So they give me the card, and I say, can you make that phone call in the next, by tonight, let them know, and then I'll call them tomorrow. Because it works so much better when I go, hi, Christine, this is Lori. Christy gave me your phone number. I know she called you already and told you I was going to be calling, right? And that way it's warm. Then y'all hate getting those phone calls and they go, so-and-so gave me your number, and you're thinking, why did they do that, So we want them to be prepared, because then it's a much friendlier. This is all about, are you getting the picture here? This business is all about building relationships, making people feel good about themselves and the people around them, and you building that up in them. So that is our full service checkout. Does anyone, we have 9 minutes left, and I want to talk about 21 days to success, but before we do, does anyone have any questions about the full service checkout? Or does anybody want to share, I can take 2 or 3 people that'd like to share something they learned from that section. Okay, so we're going to move on to our 21 days to success. Our 21 days to success is a tool that is to help you create a habit. It's been said that it takes 21 days to form a habit. This is what this tool is for. And you actually have a little chart, and I really recommend you, I'm just going to be honest, make a couple of copies of this. Most people have to start over at least once, because if you ever miss a day, you have to start from scratch, and your goal is to complete 21 days. Now, I'm going to tell you a little story that's so powerful to me. Last fall, I had a gal that was in my group, and she only had like 2 parties on her calendar for the rest of the year. This was like September. And she was pretty discouraged, and she started her 21 days to success, and I think she made it like 7 days the first time, and then she missed a day. She didn't get anything. So she started over, and she made it about 10 days. She still didn't have any parties on her book, and she missed a day, so she had to start over. So then she was on a group coaching call, and oh my gosh, I think we all had tears in our eyes. She had gone 14 days, and she was just about ready to quit. And I remember saying to her, don't quit. You're 7 days away. You're 7 days away from completing this. On day 15, she booked 4 parties, got a recruit, and a fundraiser. Can you imagine if she had quit on 14? So use that to inspire you that your success is just around the corner. It usually comes the day after you quit, and you never get to experience it. So what this is starting today, you are challenged, and we'll be talking about 21 days to success in every single group coaching. And there is absolutely no shame in saying, I didn't make it. There is shame in saying, I didn't start over. Okay? Shame is probably a bad word, but I don't know what other word to use right now. I'm trying to talk fast because I'm almost out of time. But it's about staying consistent, okay? So your goal is now, really this should say ask 3 people a day, not talk. Because we can talk at people, but the only thing that makes this powerful is at the end of every conversation, you need to say to yourself, did I ask for what I want? Write that down. In every conversation, you have to ask for what you want. If I walk up to Barbie and I go, hi Barbie, I'm Lori, we're talking about something. Yeah, I sell Duff chocolate, it's really fun. Here's my card. Let me know if you need anything. Was there a question mark anywhere in that conversation? Barbie, I'd love to do a party with you. Can I give you a call tonight and talk to you about it? That's a question, right? It's specific. When I talk to her at the end, Barbie, I would love to get your friends together and treat you to lots of free product, but also lots of great chocolate that you guys can have a fun night out. Would a daytime or an evening be best for you? There's a question mark. If there's not a question mark at the end of your conversation, you did not ask for what you want. You just talked at people. Talking out at people is about as effective as those flyers you get left on your door. How many of you have ever responded or have responded more than, say, 10% of the flyers left on your door? This is the first time I see no hands going up. So every time you don't ask, remember that You're not asking, you just talking out people at people. Most people are not going to volunteer and go, oh, well, I'll have a party for you. Now, your best friend might, your mom might. Then again, your best friend might not and your mom might not. And they might even say no when you ask. And guess what? You can still have success. When I started this business 26 years ago, I knew 5 people in Dallas-Fort Worth. I just moved here from Canada. So don't want any of you to tell me you don't know anyone, because I knew 5 people, the names of 5 people. One of them was my brother and his wife. To this day, my brother and his wife have never held a home party for me. And it's okay. They haven't held one for anyone else. It's not me. They don't do home parties. But you can be successful in spite of those closest to you not supporting you. Now, he's verbally very supportive now, but he thought I was crazy. He didn't think this was a viable business. He thought I was too good for it. And I remember him telling me that, you're silly, you can do so much better. Well, let me just tell you, I've made more money than all my siblings put together with this good in business. And they are my biggest supporters. And then I know it's not just about money, but you know what? Initially it was. They thought I could do better. And they were talking financially. And I've been the one that's been able to keep the steady income through every economy change when they've struggled. And I've been there to help them. And I'm really proud of that. And they get that now. So I encourage you to not get discouraged when those closest to you don't support you, or when those closest to you say, that's never going to happen. Sometimes it's just they don't know. Ignorance is bliss and other times, especially if it's a male in your life today, it's kind of a sentimental day to me. I lost my dad 19 years ago today. And I put a picture of him on my personal Facebook page, and it said, love and integrity, this is what it looks like. But my dad was the first person to tell me that I would never succeed at this. And you think, wow, that doesn't sound very good. But you know what? My dad had heard about the get-rich-quick schemes, and he thought that's what I was referring to. And my dad did that in a protection mode, not in a doubtful mode. If I tell Lori she's not going to succeed and it doesn't work for her, she won't be as disappointed. My dad, when I went to his funeral 19 years ago, I was like, everybody knew about my career. It was hysterical, quite honestly, because I felt like, okay, we're supposed to be here about my dad, not talking about the success I had. But he was so proud of me and what I had accomplished that cousins I hadn't seen in forever were talking about it because it's all he talked about. And he was the very first person that said, oh, Lori, that's not going to happen. But when he realized that I truly in my heart believe God gave men especially and the protectors in our life. And by the way, if you have sons, your older boys, I have a 26 and a 31-year-old, they do the same thing. They start to protect. And so just look past that and pick up the phone. This is why you're going to be in groups, and call one of us and say, I'm getting knocked down. Help me back up. That's what we're here for. But you're going to ask 3 people a day, and then we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about what stands in your way. So with 1 minute left, I told y'all I was timely. Remember, as soon as you hang up, send me an email with your aha moment, because that gets your attendance and keeps you in the class. The second thing is your homework. Your homework is to begin your 21 days to success. We'll be talking about it in our group coachings on Monday. And by the way, I need to go ahead and tell you something. I am going to most likely need to move our group coachings the second week. I hate that, to Tuesday. And the reason is I'm traveling Monday. I'm going to look at my travel schedule and see if I can do any of them, but I know I cannot do the night one. I've got an opportunity event that night. I may be able to do the daytimes, but just look at your calendars and I'll let you know in the next day or so. This coming Monday, though, we're all set. You're going to work on your power statement and use it at your parties. You're going to work on your full service checkout and use it at your parties. And you're going to work on your 21 days to success. And you're going to send me your aha moment immediately. Now, I would encourage you as extra, of course, your work getting 3 parties, because your me plus 3 is your new motto. So you're working towards that. All 3 of these are going to support that. And think about your goals. I love getting emails. I don't always respond like ASAP. I try to, but I do get to them fairly quickly. I respond to text messaging very quickly. Let me give every one of you my my phone number so you can reach out. It's 817-217-7103. 817-217-7103. Text and phone. You may phone me 24/7. I do not answer 24/7. I am like you. I have a life. My work phone does not leave my office. It's right here, but I'm sleeping. It's here. You can call me at 3 in the morning. If I answer, I must have insomnia like you. So we'll chat. It will not be in my bedroom though. So you can, I don't care when you call me. If I'm having a family dinner, I don't answer. I don't want you to either, okay? I respect your time, and I know you'll respect mine as well. And my email, all of you should have it because you've received emails from me, but it's Laurie.Lambert@DoveChocolateDiscoveries.com. And if we're not friends on Facebook, I'm Laurie Lambert on Facebook. So I hope everybody, I know you got to get back to work. Everybody got stuff to do. I went 1 minute over. I apologize. I keep these pretty straight, and I look forward. If anybody has quick questions that wants to stay on and ask, feel free. Christy, do you?
Yes, I do have a question. You were saying about the meeting, moving it. What about the Monday meeting during leadership training?
We don't have one that week.
Okay.
That's a good one. That's the week we don't have any Promote with Passion or coaching because I will actually be in New Jersey as well.
Okay, because I'll be there too. So that's why I didn't even think about, like, if it was on the schedule. I just assumed Monday.
Yeah,
so.
that's the one Monday we're skipping. And any of you that promote this month, you can still go to leadership training. It's going to be awesome.
I already did my second month in a row. Yay!
Yay! We want you there. So any other questions? If you need to sign off, feel free. We're done, but I'll be happy to answer questions. Anybody else? Okay. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.